And then when I got my purple belt, it's like I hadn't really like won any competitions. Like I would win individual matches. I would win.
It's apple juice. Matches. It's apple juice. Promise. It's
no worries. I'm not judging at all.
Okay. I'm not drinking on the job. I swear. I promise. I'm professional.
This is not my show. This is your show. It's fine. But however you like to do it, I'm with it.
But anyway, I'm sorry to back to your point. Sorry. Hey Kickers, AJ here, and I have a special guest for this month's MATCHAT, Kiaya J. So Kiaya, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Kiaya, just before we get started off, I usually let our guests kind of give a little intro before we get into the nitty gritty questions. But Kiaya, please tell us about yourself, who you are, what you do, all the fantastic things that you have to offer.
Well, my name is Kiaya J, jiu-jitsu athlete, and also a strength and conditioning coach. So I'm a purple belt and I train under Brandon McCaffrey at Tent Planet Decatur. And that's pretty much what I have to offer. I'm an athlete and a strength and conditioning coach.
That's pretty cool too with that. So I guess getting right into the question. So of course, how did you get into, since, this is a martial arts channel and I do martial arts, how did you get into martial arts? I did kind of do a little bit of research, kind of looking into your social media. It seemed like you were always an athlete in different sports, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. So how'd you find martial arts?
So like you said, I was always an athlete in different sports in high school. And after high school ended, it was like, all right, time to go off to college and, do school stuff. But then that just caused me to like not be as active. And so I was like, I would play like flag football and stuff like that, things to stay active. And I even like got in the gym, but I was missing like that competition aspect of things, like real deal competition stuff. Like I'm a very competitive person. So I was like, all right, I need to find something to do. And I was sitting at work one day and I was like watching Ronda Rousey, one of her fights. And I was like, ooh, I think I want to try this. And that's not what I wanted to try. I went and tried like my first striking class. And the instructor was like, hey, you should come do jiu-jitsu. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of close. They're like touching. They have on like the gis and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I think I just want to strike. And somehow they like convinced me to do a class and I showed up and fell in love with it. Seriously, like I fell in love with jiu-jitsu.
That's
like a weekend.
In a weekend day. That was a quick one right there.
Yeah.
I noticed, like, especially with like grappling sports, a lot of people get really, I guess, intimidated by it, I guess, with the grappling. But I think that's awesome that you found that as your martial art love of choice. If you can, I guess, clarify, a purple belt in jiu-jitsu is like where in the ranking? Because I'm pretty familiar. I'm sure that's like pretty high ranking up there. But for those that don't know, could you clarify that actually?
Yeah, so the rankings go white, blue, purple, brown, and black belt. So I'm like somewhere in the middle where I'm just starting to figure things out, really, to be honest. I always say like white belt is like, all right, you're just trying to learn how to survive at this point. You don't even try to learn like moves. Just understand like what's wrong and what's right. Like, all right, if I put my hand here, then it's probably, not going to end well, but whatever. Blue belt is like you're learning to survive and you're learning moves. You're learning to attack. But everything just falls over on you. So you're trying different things and you learn these new moves, but nothing really works like it's supposed to. Purple belt, I think, for me at least, and I've kind of talked to my coach a little bit about this, is more like, all right, you have a decent attacking system, your defense is good, and things are like working well, but you definitely, like, there are a lot of other things you need to like build into your game. Whereas like brown belt is like, all right, you've figured out systems, you have like a well-rounded game. And I don't really know what black belt consists of just yet, but I'm figuring it out.
Figuring out as you're going up with that. That's pretty cool though. But
yeah.
Just because I know with other belt systems, there's like some people have like around like 9 to 10 belts sometimes with that too. So I know grappling arts are just slightly different. That being said, how long have you been training in the martial arts now?
5 years. I think it's close to 5 years. It's not exactly 5 years yet, but I always just say 5 because I I forget what the number is.
I've been doing it for a while. That's pretty much the general thing.
That's usually what I say. Because all of my days kind of run together. Like everything, it's always the same. So like the time frame just kind of runs together, and I'm just like, 5 years.
I've been doing it for 5 years in terms of martial arts, and you've been an athlete for most of your life for that. You mentioned too, you're also a personal trainer. I believe. So how did you fall into doing that actually as a career path? And did you go to school for that originally or no?
No. So I went to school for engineering, which is
really
an entirely different
that's a completely other sector of education and just mechanical. Dang. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so I did mechanical engineering in college, and my first internship is actually how I got into working out and stuff, fitness period, because I actually hated the internship. I did not like it at all, and it was just a way to get away from work. I hated the fact that I would go to work and then I come home and then I just play the game and go to sleep and do nothing else. And I wake up again and go to work. And I was like, all right, I got to start doing something. So this was my sophomore year in college. I took the internship and I just decided to start working out. And eventually I was like, all right, I like this. I like the feeling that I'm getting. I'm liking the results and stuff. So I just decided to people started asking questions is what it was. People started asking questions. And I was like, maybe I could build this as my side career or something if I completely hate engineering like I do right now. I was like, all right, I'm going to get certified. And so I got certified and I started taking clients, and then I started learning other things and working on different certifications. And I was just like, all right, I think I want to do this instead, but I'm not sure how to make it work. So I was still doing engineering, finishing that out. I even took a second internship just to make sure all right, do I like this or do I not? And then I figured out that I didn't like it at all.
You're like, second time around, the engineering stuff. No.
I was like, well, maybe it's the company. And then I was like, nope, I just do not like this job.
Oh, geez. That being said, then, while you have moved to a different career path now, not doing engineering, do you find any of your engineering background to help you out with the personal training stuff at all?
Yeah, and jiu-jitsu, to be honest. One thing that I will say that I got from college is I learned how to solve problems. And I feel like jiu-jitsu, personal training, all of it is just solving problems. And so I apply some of the same concepts and the same structures and procedures to solving problems in jiu-jitsu, solving problems in personal training for my clients and stuff like that. I follow the same steps and procedures.
That degree in engineering still works. It still works. That's all that matters right there. Next question, kind of a little bit backtracking in regards to your martial arts origins. I know you mentioned Ronda Rousey, but Michael White asked, do you have any other role models, I guess, growing up that kind of pushed you towards the career that you're pursuing now?
Growing up, no. But here recently, I'm like, oh man, this is cool. But growing up, I always training is a thing. I always loved to train. So I thought I wanted to play basketball professionally. And I would just look at the WNBA, look at the NBA, and look to those people and see how they were training. I didn't really care about how big they were and stuff like that. It was more about all right, how are these people training? How are they thinking about things? How are they organizing their nutrition and stuff? I never really fell into martial arts early, so I didn't have anybody to look to right off the bat as a youngster anyway. But right now though, I look at some of my favorite fighters. I look at them, some of my favorite wrestlers, and I look to them for inspiration.
Can you name any off the top of your head right now? Because I know there's a lot out there, so it's hard to pick favorites sometimes with it.
Oh yeah. The first fighter I ever fell in love with was Anderson Silva. I was like, oh man,
nice.
Even before Ronda Rousey, I used to watch UFC with my mom, ironically, and I just thought it was a joke because her and my brother would watch it for a little bit and then they'd go in the living room and start fighting each other, just jokingly. And I was like, oh, I like the way this guy moves. He's smooth. But other than that, I like Israel Adesanya. He's one of my favorites. One of my favorite wrestlers, which I feel is everybody's favorite wrestler, is Jordan Burroughs. One of my favorites for sure. And those right off the bat, those are the ones that I think about.
So y'all wondering out there, you got some other people to check out, other martial arts inspirations and role models. Check out Kiaya's top 3, I guess, right there.
Oh yeah, that's top 3.
Top 3. So I guess with training and everything, right? I think this comes along everyone's like martial arts journey, and obviously it kind of repeats here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's been some of, I guess, turning points in your martial arts training that really like made you commit to it? I know you had like that, you said that first weekend you got introduced to like BJJ or jiu-jitsu and stuff that you really fell in love with it. Has that ever been tested for you? Like, oh, like something came up super difficult and you don't really know about it, or you kind of just got frustrated and you want to take a break or anything of that sort? Has that occurred to you?
Yeah. So like you said, it always happens. There's there's ups and downs in any like martial arts journey. And there comes a point where I'm just like I know it's coming. I already know like there's gonna be a period where I'm like frustrated with something and I'm not like seeing progress, but I just like gotta kind of keep on the path. And so that's happened to me a few times. Once at white belt, like I felt like I was, doing really good in the competition scene, and I was like kind of almost expecting to get my blue belt, and it didn't happen. Like day after day, I was like, I got like really frustrated to the point where I was like crying.
Oh, man.
Like
those days.
So bad. But I was like, man, well, I just need to like let go of the thought of like being promoted and just like hang on to the thought of improving, like continuing to improve. And I felt like I was, but like maybe people weren't seeing it. And then up until purple belt, I hadn't lost any matches at all. And like here recently, like I got my purple belt maybe like a year ago. I think it's a year ago. Again, times kind of run together. But when I got my purple belt, like the next weekend, I won a match and then I lost one. And it was my very first loss. And so I took it kind of hard. And then I would like do another tournament and I would like win 2 and then I'd lose in overtime or something like that. And like those kind of hit hard. I'm like, all right, like something needs to change. Like I feel like I'm making progress, but not really. That's like that's like the second time where I feel like, all right, something needs to change. Like I'm being stagnant in my progress.
I guess typical ups and downs, and obviously it's a little bit different in the experience or a bit personal with that too. So, but a lot of your difficulties have or personal difficulties or challenges have been like through competition based right now, correct?
Yeah. And just, sometimes in training too, like, one thing that I like struggle with is like leg lock defense, because it's to me, when I first started, it was like such a scary thing. Like, oh, if you move the wrong way, you could get your knee popped. And that's how it was introduced to me. So I struggled with like learning it. I kind of like put it off. I'll turn this off. I kind of like put off learning leg locks and stuff. And that was the one thing that kept showing up in competition. But I was so like, turned off from training that particular part of the game that it like put me behind a little bit. And that was like one struggle. I'm like, all right, we're going to have to get over this.
We got to sit down and have an intervention with some black blocks right over here.
Seriously.
Oh, man.
So that's exactly what we did. I would just willingly hop into leg locks and be like, all right, you just gonna have to figure it out. And if you tap, you just tap, but move. Don't just
with jiu-jitsu, right? Like, I guess outside of just the close proximities, you obviously have to be with your opponent. Like, yeah, the locking aspect of jiu-jitsu. Do you find that? I know you said you did a little bit of striking before, or do you still continue striking? I don't know.
I just started it back up, actually.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, yeah. You posted something on your Instagram about that, I think. Yeah. But I guess in comparison to other martial arts, and I have my own opinion on this, but I want to hear yours first. Do you feel like grappling, I guess, is like a safer martial art, a little bit more mechanical martial art, or like do you feel like there's something what really differentiate against other martial arts? I guess that's what I'm asking in general.
I don't know if it's necessarily like safer. I feel like you can practice it a lot harder because there isn't like a lot of strikes and stuff. Like you're not constantly being hit, and you can because you're not constantly being hit and stuff like that, then you can like really fine tune the techniques and really pay attention to your movement. But I don't know if it's like necessarily like safer than other martial arts. The biggest difference I've found is that like I can learn a lot from like rolling with anyone. like I can roll with a brand new person and learn, all right, if I put my foot here instead of there, I can shift their weight just a little bit. Or if I roll in a kids class with a child, then I can like really do it safely. And I have to do the move right to not hurt them. And so I really learned a lot about like weight distribution and where to place things and like how to use leverage and stuff without actually hurting the child. In that aspect, I guess it is safer, but like you wouldn't stand up and strike with a child and learn a whole bunch.
That's very true, unless it's a really gargantuan like freaking child somehow. Jeez, but you don't come across many of those lately.
Yeah, but I could wrestle with a child. I could grapple with a child and learn a whole bunch.
That's a really good point to make right there, especially with grappling arts. I've only had a little bit exposure to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I did train a little bit of judo. So that's my grappling art that I have. I haven't been there and done that for a while though. So I'm technically still back. I'm back at white belt. I managed to get an orange belt during my training time, but and most I can do is defend, turtle up, don't get choked, and make sure I don't get grabbed, and try to do a throw of the two techniques that I know.
Hey, listen, you learn to survive. Yeah. That's
it. But in regards to like the point that you made, like I think grappling does allow you to ramp up gradually, and just because I think with the striking arts it's a lot easier to, I guess, fake it and like ease up on it, where to the point where you think you know it, but you don't ever make like the full contact to really register what the true combative side of a striking art is, right? Right. So that's the other element with it. But with grappling, like it's body weight. You're throwing someone, you're picking them up, you're choking them out, you have to hold them. Like you can't really fake that too much. And like you'll see the results real quick if you tend to cheat it and skip it. Like if you go against someone that knows what they're doing, like you're done in like a second or two, honestly. So that's a really great point, that it's something you can work with anyone. I think usually with grappling arts and me, because I'm technically on the smaller side of people, I don't get to work with too many people my size. I don't know if you ran into the same problem on your end. So you learn a lot, even working with people that are heavier than you, taller than you, even though it sucks when you're starting out, because it's like, oh my God, this is 10 times harder to do, but it pays off in the end. So it's not wasted practice. It's just a little bit more difficult than you would like it at first, but it pays off definitely with that.
Yeah, I definitely haven't had a lot of training partners my size. And it's kind of cool to go into competition. And just like my coach is always like, all right, you're 115 pounds right now. And you're used to having me on top of you. Like, you should be fine. Like, just stand. He's always like, just get up. Like,
just stand straight up like that. Just come back.
It's a joke when we say it, but he really means like, you can get up.
No, just do it. What are you talking about? You got it. Oh, good. Any favorite moments that you have during training that you really like, it's on the forefront of your head, and that you like to kind of reminisce a little bit, or like tell stories about something that kind of special to you, I guess?
Well, here recently, like during like the quarantine period where they were like shutting everything down. Well, it was pretty cool that my gym, like we shut down and stuff, but there were like 7 of us that legit like stayed in the gym. We lived in the gym and trained, and it sounds super cool. Like we didn't leave. When they announced in Alabama that they were gonna shut everything down and you weren't allowed to go anywhere, we bought a bunch of groceries and we all brought it up to the gym. We brought all of our like cooking appliances and everything that we needed to legit like bunker down into the gym. Like we didn't know what it was. We were like, all right, whatever it is, we're just gonna keep training like together, and we're not gonna go out and do anything. We're gonna stay inside. And when that happened, I got locked into the gym with I think 3 black belts, a brown belt, and a purple belt. And at the time I was just a blue belt. And every day at 1:00.
Wow.
You know where this is going.
Yeah, I'm about to say, okay, someone's pressure cooking right now. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, so every day at 1:00, the alarm would just, like the gym timer would just go off. And no matter what, everybody showed up, whether we like slept that night or not, everybody would just walk into the gym. We already knew, even if we didn't talk to each other like the entire day, when the timer went off in the mat room, everybody walked in and we just got on the mats and just started training like little zombies. And during that time, I got my ass handed to me a lot. But I learned so much about like just like how to train all right, this is how the black belts are thinking about the game. This is how they're studying the game. This is how they train. This is how you manipulate somebody's weight. If I keep doing this one thing, my coach is going to throw me across the room. So I had to figure out how to not be thrown across the room and not get my ass handed to me every day. And I think I improved. I leveled up in the time that we stayed there. And it wasn't even really that long that we were locked down in Alabama, but in the time that I was there, I leveled up a lot. And that moment right there is when it's always to tell people, it's oh yeah, I got locked into the gym with a bunch of black belts, a brown belt and a purple belt.
You're alive still?
I know, right?
Oh man, that's a good thing to hear. At least that your COVID experience, your lockdown quarantine experience, wasn't too bad. That you still were able to train safely with other people. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, and my coach was just hey, things are getting bad. You get a chance to decide. At the time, I'm working there, so that's why I'm all right, I'm in. I work there. He's you can decide if you want to go home, if you want to stay home, but we're closing the gym down, or if you want to come bring all your stuff for however long you think you'll need it, and we'll just stay here.
Honestly, that's the dojo dream, honestly, right there. That's what I would think, because I know I did impromptu. Don't know if it was specifically okay at that point in time. I know I told my instructor when I was working over there before, hey, I'm just going to be late night training. And then next thing you know, it's I ended up kind of passing out on one of the crash mats on the side. It's it's 5 a.m. Hi, cardio kickboxing. Let's go, I guess.
Hey, everybody.
Promise. Just cleaning the space. I didn't sleep here. Whatever. Segues into another question that we had submitted, and this is from Aaliyah McCaskey, I believe. I'm sorry if I butchered her name there. She was asking about what your workout regimen was, and I'm going to add another level to that. Has your workout regimen greatly changed since the pandemic has hit, or has it relatively stayed the same now that things are slowly kind of getting back to normal?
So when it actually did hit, I switched off. We had some weights in the gym where I was staying, but not a lot. I switched to more body weight movements and just dumbbell and kettlebell stuff as opposed to barbell movements. But my actual routine, the way I like to organize my workout schedule and my program didn't really change much. So my normal program is I like to do what's called the condensed conjugate method. And pretty much it's all right, I do a dynamic part of my workout, and then I do a max part where I focus on my main lift and add some accessory exercises. So if I did a dynamic upper, I do 2 moves, upper body movements for speed and power. And then for the max lower, I would do a squat for my main lift and then do some accessory exercises to work on my hamstrings and stuff like that. So I do 2 of those strength training days where I flip flop the dynamic and the max portion. And then the rest of it is conditioning days. So I'll work out 4 to 5 days a week. The conditioning days are movements based on jiu-jitsu, movement circuits based on jiu-jitsu. And then I'll do a steady state cardio day where I'm just on the bike or I'm jump roping, trying to keep my heart rate down and just work on that zone 2 cardio. Nothing about the structure changed, just the way the equipment that I use changed.
That's good to hear that because I know some people struggle with that real hard when the pandemic hit. So
yeah, I even I created a body weight workout program when the pandemic hit. I was oh man, I know this is gonna be terrible. People are gonna be locked in their house, going crazy. And I was hey, get this free, completely free. Just move during the pandemic. Just move, please.
Is that still available, by the way, that people can download that or access it?
Yeah, awesome. It is. It's on my website.
Oh, sweet. So link somewhere in the bio or down here or screenshot. I'll put it in there somewhere with that. We'll put that in there. Competition wise, I know competitions probably has slowed down since the pandemic, right? But is it starting to pick back up into the scene? I know some people are going back to tournaments and stuff too. How about for you?
Yeah. Things are definitely starting to pick back up. I've done, I want to say 3 this year. I want to say maybe more. Maybe 3 or 4 this year, and they've kind of been all over. My last competition, I was in Florida. I went to Florida actually twice this year. I went to LA this year, and I'll be going back to LA in 3 weeks for another competition. Oh, and then there's the IBJJF like Worlds is in October. So yeah, they're starting to pick back up. But for a while they kind of slowed down, which to be honest, I really wasn't that mad at it. It gave me a chance to just train with nothing, with like my own personal goals in mind, not I'm trying to get ready for this competition. Let's work my A game. Instead, I was just like, all right, what are the things that I suck at? Leg locks. Okay, cool. We're going to work that.
We're going to get locked in with leg locks. That's what's going to happen right there, pretty much.
Yeah.
But that's I like I said before, I think it's awesome that you've been able to take a obstacle and really make it work for your benefit and like use that as an opportunity for your training, which everyone, you should be like Kiaya J and do so with whatever endeavor that you have in your life. Just saying that right now. Those are some inspiration stuff right there.
Let's go.
This is a little bit more of a serious topic, but I'm sure that you've experienced this. I know I've experienced this on my side to some degree. From AJKICK, Ryu Senin on Instagram, he asked, with the stigmas and hardships that women face in the martial arts world, what keeps you motivated? And I had also multiple questions, I guess, from a guy named David Macer, Jocelyn Williams, basically asking like your experience as training as a woman of color, I guess, especially on a social media platform, right? There's always going to be haters, but I feel like there's a lot more that goes into all this other stuff with, what the world's been going through and everything. So
right.
What's your experience with that and how have you overcome that?
Well, the thing that like keeps me motivated for like training and stuff is like seeing other women do it. And so like, yeah, like things are like weird, really like strange to like not have that many women, and especially women of color in like the martial arts scene. But when I see other women do it, like it's just amazing to me. I'm like, all right, we got to keep doing this because like there are other people looking for women that, that look like me. And actually one of the coolest things that happened to me is I met this younger girl that does jujitsu. And her name is Taylor, and she's like, I want to say she's 14, and she looks exactly like me. It's wild. And she's always like, yeah, that's my twin. Like, and people will like look at our videos and mention us and be like, I thought this was at Taylor or whatever, or at Kaya. And I met her at a competition, and she was just so nice and so excited to like meet me. And I was super excited to meet her, but like we were doing the same competition. We were on the exact same card, but she's like 14. She's a killer. And that right there just like motivated me. Like she didn't even know this, but like 10 times over, I was like, yeah, nah, there's no way I'm quitting now. Like she was like super excited. We like took a picture and I talked to her dad and stuff. And I want to get like legit go train with her and have her come down and train with me. And that type of thing like keeps me motivated, like to see people that look like me, women of color, like that look like me train. And the fact that I could potentially motivate somebody to like get out and train. Because to be honest with you, the first thing that I did when I saw Ronda Rousey, I was like, all right, are there any like women of color in the
Oh man.
I was like, all right, Angela Hill. And I was like, cool. I just want to know. I just know that like somebody else like is out there doing it. And it may not seem like a big deal at first, but it kind of is to me, especially to me, and especially to younger women that are like coming up. Like,
no, I think
that
you definitely want to know. And I think that's what puts a lot of women off from doing grappling actually too. And just martial arts in general, since it is still technically a male dominated sport, but obviously a lot more women luckily have been able to experience it and enjoy it and now make their own mark in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, exactly your experience right there. Just seeing like, oh, there's a woman out there with a color over there. Just someone to know that it is possible, and like it just gives you that hope and gives you that inspiration and the motivation to keep training and keep working hard and invite other people like you to enjoy martial arts for what it is, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specifically for you. What it is.
My I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
My gym is like led by female black belt. Like
that's awesome. That's so sick. That's like totally opposite of mine.
Yeah, it's Lindsay McCaffrey and Brandon McCaffrey. Like they're both black belts. So Lindsay, if like I can just look to Lindsay and ask her questions that I couldn't ask Brandon, like if he didn't understand. Like, all right, hey Lindsay, like I'm feeling this type of way because of my menstrual or something. Like I wouldn't go talk to Brandon about it. I would go talk to Lindsay. And so like that's super important to know.
That is a very valid point. Yeah, guys, men in martial arts. I'm just saying we got to deal with a whole other system sometimes during training. Like at least once a month, if that's like your normal cycle and shit. Like it sucks to train on that. It just sucks. So it's nice to have a female that has been doing it for a long time and being able to ask these questions on how to deal with it, because it just sometimes it gets in the way of training. It really does. Like
it really does. Yeah. Our program has a lot of women in it, and I think it's especially because Lindsay is there to like represent. Like our program, we don't have like a women's only class, but there's like a specific corner where we like we go over and we talk to each other like, oh, we're taking over. We even started like I was like, all right, I'll lead the squad. Oh my God. We're gonna take over.
But that's awesome with that. And I think that's great that I'm hearing more often now that there is more, I guess, women in the community, especially the grappling community there too. So if you're a girl out there, young, older, whatever it is, and you have an interest and you want to get into grappling arts, I do encourage you guys to go out there and seek for it, because if you haven't found it yet, there is something out there. You just might have to look a little bit harder. And I'm assuming, Kiaya J, you are open to probably ask or answer questions in regards to other female martial artists if they have anything specific, obviously, you want to ask her with that. And I feel like you can do that with the majority of women in martial arts that are actively training too. Like we want to help everyone else out there too, to kind of make the mark and start your journey. You know what I mean?
100%. That's the whole goal. Like that's the whole reason I started like posting on social media and stuff. At first it was like fitness related. I was like, all right, I just want to motivate people to get up and move. And I was like, I want to motivate people to get up and start new things. Like start your martial arts journey, start with your fitness journey, do whatever you want to do. Like I want to motivate you to do exactly what you want to do.
That's it right there. That's it.
Always open to questions. Yeah.
That being said, and we're going to wrap it up basically with our final question. So what advice do you have for anyone that wants to pursue martial arts? And I know obviously you can speak in behalf for any women of color that might want to pursue, but just anyone in general, I think, because there are some overlapping advice that kind of works with that too.
Yeah, just in general, I think just get started. Like find a place that you enjoy training, whatever that may be. It doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu. It can be like Muay Thai or any martial arts, really. Like get started with training and find the right environment. Finding the right gym environment is very important if you want to like get started and continue to go. Like you don't want to walk into a place where you just don't really enjoy the people there. It's kind of hard to learn, but when you find the right environment, it's so easy to learn and to just stick with it. Like, again, we talked about it earlier. There's going to be ups and downs. Like there's going to be times where you feel like, man, I'm not getting any better at this. Man, I might suck a little bit. And that's okay. That's okay. We all feel that. I feel that on a weekly basis. You know what I mean? Like, there are times where I leave the gym and I'm on top of the world. And there's times where I leave the gym and I'm ready to just, crawl under my bed and not come back. And that's just a part of it. It's a journey for a reason. Like it's no fun if all you do is make progress. Like, to be honest, you don't really appreciate the progress as much. So that's my main thing is find a good gym environment and just keep going, keep showing up and really figure out how you learn and set some goals for yourself. I think that's the final one is like set some goals for yourself. Be clear about what you want and don't be afraid to say what you want.
Solid advice right there from Kiaya. Definitely right. Where can people go to find you, support you? Do you have any programs going on? Because I know I just briefly looking on your website, so you do. And I guess any other projects that you're working on that you want people to know about and support as well. Yeah, take it away.
All right. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Kiaya.J. YouTube, Kiaya J. Pretty much everywhere at Kiaya J. Any social media platforms. My website is train.kiayaj.com. Right now I'm having an August fitness challenge, and I'll continue to do like these monthly challenges for combat sports, for martial arts. But this one was specifically for like jiu-jitsu and stuff. But you can find that free bodyweight workout program. I'll have an archive where you can get like nutrition advice, some like nutrition, like some meals and stuff. You can get workouts that I do on a daily. It'll be like being updated. And things that I'm working on right now, I'm working on getting ready to compete for a really big like competition in LA, which will qualify me to go to like what's called Medusa. It's like a women's only jiu-jitsu tournament. Nice. And that's going to be in Cancun. So
dang! Talk about turn up in Cancun right there. Dang.
Yeah, there we go. So if I win the qualifiers, then I go to Cancun to compete. So that's the main thing that I'm working on. I'm working on like getting my YouTube out there a little bit more. And I've actually started a podcast. I'll give more details on that later.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that there. Nice with that. Oh, yeah. So yes, you can find her anywhere, website, Instagram, Facebook. Just look at the Kiaya J. I'm pretty sure it'll show up on Google right there for most of that stuff. And you'll see it all in the description down below and whatever B-roll footage, pictures that I choose to put up on that listing. So hopefully you guys have all that information. And I believe that is it. So Kiaya, thank you so much for this wonderful mat chat and having this interview. Super chill and just great experience. Thank you for sharing all of that. And guys, if you guys like the mat chat discussion, please let me know in the comments below, as well as if you have any suggestions for any future mat chat guests or even specific topics too, because I like being able to talk about specific topics, martial arts related, or not even just some little other things there too. Please let me know as well. And that's pretty much it. So until next time, guys, remember, keep on kicking and talk to you guys later. Bye.